Okay. So, greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I hope that you can hear me. If so, feel free to drop a line. And warmest regards. I hope that you are well. I've heard many things are happening in the world at the moment. Things have been happening, of course, since time eternal, and today's no exception. So, my warmest regards, especially those who might be affected by the recent earthquake that occurred. I very much hope that you are as well as can be, considering the circumstances, whatever they may be for you, my dear friends. Oh, Chiggers, hello. It's nice to see you. How are you doing? Is the sound okay? Just let me know if the sound's okay. If not, I can try to adjust. And then we will go from there. So I just wanted to give a live stream extension to all. Hello, Sean. Hello, Omesh. It's nice to see you. And Shooters, thank you very much for checking this out. I appreciate it. Yes. Kei Kawa's here. It's nice to see you. Hello. Konnichiwa, konbanwa, otsukaresama desu. Andoni, hello. It's nice to see you. Well, thank you very much for checking the sound. Thank you. Bilbao. Oh, and Adele Kuchi, hello. It's nice to see you. You're very kind, and you're in Italy right now, so thank you very much. It's nice to see you. Slam Dunk is here from Australia. It's nice to see you. I hope you're well. I know some of you maybe are waking up again, or maybe you already started your day, whatever the case may be. So I was I just now finished up my work day. I'm working from home, but I just, I was going about my day, of course, and then I heard the news, very saddened, very sad news about the earthquake in the Middle East, Turkey and Syria, and other affected areas. So, my deepest sympathies and my thoughts for anyone who is affected at this very moment. And of course, I don't, maybe not watching this live stream directly, but my family and I, we hope that things are as well as can be for all of you, whatever your circumstances are. And if they are not well, then we really hope that things become as well as possible as soon as possible. So, but in that spirit, I wasn't planning on doing a live stream, but I just wanted to. I just felt that maybe I just wanted to have a little live touch, as it were, and extend to you my warmest regards to all of you wherever you are. As I say, this technology affords us the opportunity to connect in live, real time, even though we might be many miles apart. So, in that way, my dear friends, please forgive my indulgence today in going for this live stream. But I hope you can forgive me, and I just wanted to say hello and warmest regards to you, my dear friends. And please don't let me interrupt your day, because I know everyone is busy. But if you even have but a moment to say hello, I would very much be happy to hear from you. And of course, to hear about anything you wanted to talk about, cinema or otherwise. That's perfectly okay with me. I will be on for maybe not so long, but I just wanted to again say hello, and I hope all is well. So let's see. Hank is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. So I I suppose that it's right now about 6 or a little bit past, what's it's 18 minutes past the hour, 6 p.m., 6:18 p.m. here in Tokyo, when I'm making this, or when I'm, I guess, broadcasting this over YouTube Live. So, again, I hope that this message finds all of you well and in good spirits. And however you are passing the time, whatever is part of your days and lives at the moment, once again, I hope that you are well, or as well as can be given the circumstances. And if things are otherwise, then please, my warmest thoughts to you. And Hank says it's 3 a.m. where you are. Yes, thank you. And Scholar22 says, hello, it's nice to see you. Yes, I was over the course of the past few days, in fact, I was uh, watching or rewatching a number of the Brian De Palma works in preparation for the just trying to get back into those video discussions. And also De Palma discussions, and so De Palma discussions and Cronenberg discussions, excuse me. And so I'm right now in the midst of preparing the the discussion on the Dead Zone, and also in the midst of preparing the discussion on The Fury, and also Home Movies by Brian De Palma, which is from 1979, 1980. And then hopefully getting into, then, I don't know, maybe I'm too ambitious here, maybe getting in by the end of the week or into the weekend, a discussion, or at least starting to prepare about Dressed to Kill, and then The Fly from Cronenberg, as well as going through the not Cronenberg, the Criterion titles. And yes, so that's why. So I was in the midst of preparing that. And Sean, yes, you mentioned Body Double. Yes, that is really an amazing film. I can't wait to speak about that when it arrives, or when it comes up in the queue, as it were, of discussion. And so I was preparing that, and I was just thinking about, oh, what should I say about the film The Dead Zone? And then I suddenly heard this really really sad, a very tragic news about the earthquake that happened. And so I was very I and we were watching the news here, and so for a moment I was, well, not just for a moment, but for many moments, and even now, my family felt that we were overcome with much sadness, and of course, our feelings of support were become very intensified indeed. And so, while we are not on the ground, as it were, we have no way of providing any direct support. In this fashion, we want to say, and my family want to say, how much our thoughts are with everyone who's affected. And so I was maybe going to continue on with a little bit of film discussion, but once again, it's maybe sometimes cinema is very important, and also cinema is. I mean, it's. I always like to think it's a reminder too, for me, of just how important life is, and just how important these things about our lives really are. It reminds us of many things about our lives that can be uh, part of the daily routine of things, can be, of course, maybe enhancements of how we have certain outlooks on life and living, and of course about many parts of that, including the people that we know, people that we might have loved in our lives, and people that we might have known in our lives, and who we might recall through warm memories, or maybe not so warm memories, again, depending on the certain situations and the like. But again, that's the whole part of, I guess, hodgepodge of lived-in experiences that I always like to think that is so much part of the cinema journey. So that's one of the great beauties of the cinema journey, is it not? Is how much it can remind us of things in our lives, or maybe rekindle about things in our lives, or maybe uh, uh, make us look on things in our life from maybe a different vantage point, or through a different lens or filter that we might not otherwise have seen otherwise. And so that's one of the beautiful things. So, in that spirit, I just wanted to, I guess, in my own very limited capacity, my admittedly very, very, very limited capacity, I just wanted to reach out in this live stream fashion and say hello to you, my dear friends, in real time. So here I am. So, Clark, thank you so much. Oh, it's nice to see you. Really, really nice to see you, uh, my dear friend. Thank you. Oh, Chiggers, thank you for asking. So I haven't seen any, let's see, recent movies. So I just mentioned just a reevaluation or a revisiting of certain De Palma and Cronenberg work. You say you watched Once Upon a Time in the West. Oh, that's really lovely. Really, I wonder what you thought of that. Please let me know. I have a great fondness for that film, very much so. Oh, and Andoni says, you just finished watching Twin Peaks: The Return. Oh, well done. Well done. Such a beauty. Yes. Yes. And so I also revisited, or not revisited, I saw the rest of the BFI Sight and Sound list, after everything beyond the top 100. So that was really interesting too, to see the handling of certain aspects of Twin Peaks, as some of you may know. So wow, so well done, well done. So Hank says, about to rewatch Dreams. Here's so this is the Kurosawa film Dreams. Oh, that's wonderful. I hope you say you rewatched it, so that's that's really interesting. Oh, so Andoni says, have you heard about the documentary on Tarkovsky made by his and apparently soon to be released? Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. And then Hank Hill says, is Ikiru on Criterion? So this is a question about the Kurosawa film Ikiru. Yes, so there is a Criterion Blu-ray of the film Ikiru. I forget the spy number exactly. I think it's in the 200s or so, early 200s. So, my dearest friends, if you're interested in Kurosawa, there's many options to choose from the Criterion Collection catalog, including Ikiru, of course. So, warmest regards. I hope you enjoy. Yeah, it was. Let's see. Oh, Endless Mike is here. You say, hi, Daisuke. Oh, hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, yes, thank you. Interesting. So you're mentioning Mickey Mouse, Disney shorts, Silly Symphonies. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you. Well, please enjoy. And if you do continue on with your Kurosawa journey, please let me know. And I really hope that you enjoy it, my dear friend. Thank you. And Scholar22 says you've been watching a lot of De Niro, some 18 or 19 films so far. I wonder which films you're referring to. I think it was, it is, or it was, again, given based on the time difference, of course, I think it was the birthday of Michael Mann, the director Michael Mann, and of course, Robert De Niro has a really strong connection with the films of Michael Mann. I'm speaking, of course, of the film Heat from 1995, which I've spoken about on this channel. I love that film, Heat, and it was I saw that in the theater when it was released. My mom took me to see it in the theater. I remember. So that's one of the great De Niro performances, as well as Pacino as well. Al Pacino, that's a great one. So, but anyway, thank you so much. I wonder what De Niro films really stuck out to you in particular, Scalder22. Please let me know. Oh, Baptiste Under, thank you so much. It's nice to see you, my dear friend. You say you don't have time to catch up with your last videos yet. Looking forward to seeing you in this live stream makes my. Oh, you're very kind. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Yes, I admit, I'm overcome today with a certain degree, quite a certain degree of sadness at the moment, given certain uh, uh, world events that have occurred. And so, but and so, but as I mentioned at the start of this live stream, I just wanted to, again, in that spirit, in my very limited capacity, just reach out and say hello to everyone, because I really it's one of those things where YouTube affords such a lovely opportunity to reach out and connect with people in a real-time fashion, and so one might as well take such opportunities while they are presenting themselves. So, so thank you so much, my dear friend, for stopping by. Oh, and Jiggers follows up. Thank you so much. Once Upon a Time in the West was absolutely breathtaking. I think the entire opening is Leone at his best. I love when, yes, 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 exactly. At the very start, this is referring to the very famous way the film opens. And it's famous for a number of reasons, one of which is this very great detail that you make mention of in your great commentary, Cheers. Thank you so much. Almost, thank you. Ah, yes, your recent watches are Pauline at the Beach, well done, and Apu trilogy, well done, my dear friend. Thank you. Sean, you continue, yes, about De Palma. Brian De Palma's run in the 80s may be the best of any director, in my opinion. Wow, that is a very, very bold statement, but I think one that is very reasonably made. I would say too that his 80s run is incredibly strong. It's incredibly strong indeed, and I am just at the cusp. I am still I'm in the 70s. I'm in the latter half of the 70s. As I mentioned, I'm just about ready to discuss The Fury and home movies, to then enter into the 80s with great anticipation. I'm very, very excited about the discussion to be had about Dress to Kill. But of course, I'm also excited about the discussion to be had about The Fury, which is another, how should I put it? The Fury is a very explosive and entertaining film. Let's put it that way. So yes. Oh yes, mixed memorabilia. Nice to see you. Yes, speaking of Michael Mann, yes, and Heat, L.A. Takedown. Yes, thank you very much for mentioning it. Of course, yes. And I bought Heat 2 as well. So I haven't had a chance yet to read Heat 2. I've heard a little bit about it, but nothing too specific. So, but I'm looking forward to being able, hopefully, to be able to catch up with it very, very soon indeed. But in any event, yes, this is a hopefully there might be some more room in the Heat universe for further stories. But again, we shall see. We shall see. But in any event, thank you so much, Mixed Memorabilia, and I hope you're well, my dear friend. I hope all of you are well, my dear friends. I'm my I admit my heart is somewhat heavy today. Given certain recent news around the world, but once again, just in the the spirit of wanting to just make some connections in the real-time format, which today's technology can afford. I just want That's just a very simple, uh, sort of simple choice on my part to start this live stream discussion today. Thank you so much for keeping up the conversation, my dear friends. I'm still here for some more time. So if you want to continue the chat, please do. But if not, if you're busy, please, of course, don't let me distract you from your day and your duties and the matters that you have to take care of today. My dear friends, do what you need to do, and please take very, very good care of yourselves. And warmest regards to all of you. Please take very, very good care of yourselves and your family and friends and loved ones during these times. Uh, as always, I very much hope that all is well, or as well as can be expected. And if not, then I hope things can get better as soon as possible. So let's see. So here, Scholar says, had Heat group watch last November with friends. I'm watching all the Niro I own and can find online, mix of old and new. Oh, interesting. One highlight has been De Niro directed and starred A Bronx Tale. Oh, well done. You know, Scholar 22, last year, around this time last year, I think, has it already been almost a year? Has it been that quick? My goodness. I did a series on this YouTube channel, which was called 31 Days of Gangster Films and Police Films from the 1970s onwards, or something like that. And perhaps I think, Bronx Tale might have been included in that bunch, but, it was, that's a really, that's a fantastic film, is it not? Yeah. De Niro's so great in that, but it's also, right, this story, right? The relationship, and she has Palminteri, of course. Wow, yeah. And, speaking of De Niro films, I saw the film. Did you see the film, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle? I saw that in the theater when it was released. Again, I saw it with my mom, so, that was a really, interesting film. I think Jason Alexander's in it as well, so Rene Russo, I think, is in it as well, but and also Robert De Niro. Baptiste Andrew, thank you so much. Thank you. Again, it's not, it's, it's nothing for me personally. It's, again, um, just with certain news that has occurred around the world at the moment. Just my heartfelt wishes for those who may be affected. So it's not, yeah. Thank you so much, Andoni. Thank you. But again, my thoughts are with people who might be affected today. So let's see. Thank you so much indeed, my dear friend. Mixed Memorabilia says yes. De Niro film, which is a bit under the radar. King of Comedy, yes. And in fact, this is one of my favorite Scorsese works. And um, one of my favorite Scorsese De Niro matchups. Really, really well done. Um, really, really well done. I think there was a lot. I think it was great too, because I think it got a lot of attention brought to it recently, or fairly recently, once again, because of certain, say, stylistic, or maybe not plot, but certain, maybe thematic or atmospheric, consistent connections that could be said to have been existing between that film and a recent release of the film, which was called Joker. So, which I was very happy to see that kind of a spotlight being shone on the film King of Comedy. That is a really brilliant, brilliant work. So nuanced, and it's very ambiguous in a lot of places, which I find so refreshing. So, thank you. Oh, Adele, thank you so much for sticking around. You asked about Kase. Yes, yes. Um, Naomi Kawase. Yes, well done. I haven't spoken about her works in any great detail on this channel, unfortunately. So that's my own failing. But yes, I'm a great admirer of her works. And you say, I love her style. Mostly her personal story influenced her work. Yes, yes. Sorry, but my English is very. No, no, no. It's not. It's well done. This is a lovely comment, Adele. Well, lovely comment indeed. Well done. Thank you so much. Yes, I agree with your assessment about Kalas's work. Yes, yes. Well done. Well said, my dear friend. Well said. Oh, Henry, it's nice to see you. Really, really nice to see you. I hope that you are well. And I recall our previous talks, and your comments from past live streams from, let's say, a week or so ago. And so, warmest regards, my dear friend. I hope how are you doing? I hope you're well. It's nice to see you. And you talk about, Milos Forman. Oh, wow. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for the follow up. Thank you. Lonsi, hello. Oh, well done. Well done. So you mentioned Limbo. Oh, thank you. Lonsi, thank you so much. And also, I'm sorry, I didn't pick up our conversation from like a week ago or so. I didn't. Things have been a little bit busy of late, but I do want to continue our conversation, offline about the thing we were talking about. If you're still interested, so yes, thank you so much. Oh, mixed memorabilia. Thank you very much. Yes, yes, Joker and King of Comedy. Yes, very much so. Gizmordor. Oh, my dear friend Gizmordor, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hope all is well. Yes, looking forward to your discussion of the Dead Zone. Thank you so much. You say, I saw that it's due to be uploaded soon, so rewatched it last night. I enjoy it more with each rewatch. Thank you so much, my dear friend. Thank you. Yes, yes, it was. It was. It's up. It's going to be up very soon. Um, yes, it'll be up very soon. So. Uh, that's the next video that's gonna be up, so, we'll see. The immediate plans, that's gonna be the next video, and then either I'll shift my attention to, um, the Criterion release of Imitation of Life, and then, maybe jump on board with, The Fury, and then Home Movies, the 2 Brian De Palma films that round out the 1970s, and then go into The Fly, and then Lars von Trier. Oh my goodness, wow. That's the hope anyway. I don't know if I'll be able to keep, and then, of course, right, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, I'm still in, like, the first hour and 15 minutes. I haven't finished the film discussion yet, so yes, and not to mention The Missing Pieces and, The Return, not to mention Angelopoulos as well. Very interesting. Oh, yes, Scalder, thank you so much. Yes, well done. Festival for the first time too. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. Robert Baldwin, have you seen This Boy's Life? Yes, I have. I don't own it, a copy of it, but I have seen it, yes. So, um, so I guess, yes, speaking of De Niro, yes. Uh, Omesh asks, "Do you have any films that you watch together as a family?" So actually recently, my family my family, just finished watching together as a family the Harry Potter movies. I had already seen the films, and so, I read the novels, but, um, I, my family didn't see them, or maybe my wife saw the first 2 or something and then stopped there, and then, my kids never seen the films, and so, we watched the films in order, starting from, I think, actually last year, and then just going through them one at a time, and so that's been a lot of fun to watch the films again, through their eyes, and also just, revisiting, everything. So, when I say everything, everything up to, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, 1 and 2. So really it was great to watch the films again through their eyes in particular. So, oh, Loncy, you're very kind as always. Thank you so much, my dear friend. Thank you. Seamus M, nice to see you. You say you can't sleep. Oh gosh, perfect timing. Your live streams are always uplifting. Well, my dear friend, I hope I don't keep you from your sleep, which I know sleep is very valuable and very important. So please don't let me distract you any more than necessary. But of course, if you are up for sticking around, you are of course welcome anytime. Thank you so much. Almost asks, "Do you have films that you watch together as a family on a calendar basis?" Not on a calendar basis per se. There's no fixed schedule of films or any set films that we have to watch or in as a tradition watch as a family, like, every year or something like that. But we do watch certain films. Oh, I should mention too, we watched Matilda the musical on Netflix, and so that was a really fun. I enjoyed that film very much. Endless Mike, yes. The missing pieces are very interesting. A lot of fun in 90 minutes. Wow, yes. The plan is to speak about each missing piece one at a time, because they're each all mixed memorable. Oh, look at that question. Wow, what are your top 3 De Niro performances? I don't know. That's really tough. I don't know if I'd have a top 3% because my lists change, and I have to really think about it. And so, uh, I feel kind of on the spot, but that's okay. That's perfectly good. I'm very honored that you'd express an interest in what I might have to think about the topic. So maybe under the assumption that maybe my list could change, perhaps. I don't know. Gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, I mentioned Heat. I really love his performance in Heat, and also I really loved his performance in a film around the same time, which is Casino. I really loved his performance as Sam Ace Rothstein, together with those huge glasses that he wears in the desert scene. I love those. And then so that's 2, I think. And then I think maybe oh gosh, it's really difficult. I would think maybe too Once Upon a Time in America, because I think the role of Noodles is such a it's a really I think that's a really challenging role. A really, really challenging role because it goes in a lot of places. It goes in a lot of places that sometimes it goes in really, really unpleasant areas. And so, he never loses sight of the unpleasantness of some of those situations while still, attempting to portray, I mean, a kind of a l kind of lethargy of time, which I think is, very fascinating indeed. So that's a really, that's a such a profound performance in a lot of ways. So maybe those, but again, I apologize for not being, more prepared than I should, than I am. So, and you mentioned, oh, interesting. Very, thank you so much. Thank you for this, Jeff. It's nice to see you. Hope you're well. Thank you. Oh, Dan says, yes. Sleep is for the weak. Well, then, if that's so, count me in as part of that category, 'cause I really value sleep. I always like to sleep, but of course, yes, I understand the opposite, viewpoint, which is, uh, the need for activity is very important. I totally understand. Let's see, and then also, yes, what was a film that you felt you absolutely had to show your kid? Let's see, I don't know if I had to show them, but I showed, recently, I mentioned this when my daughter, watched the film 2001: A Space Odyssey. And so she was, I don't know if she would say it was the best film she'd ever seen, but it was, I think she got into certain parts of it at least. So that was really great. It was really, really great. So happy to have gotten that. And Donnie says, "Little game. Could you recommend one film per continent?" Oh, oh gosh, that's too difficult. I don't know. My mind is, a bit of not working so well today. So I don't know. Maybe we can, I don't know. May I pass for now? Is that okay? I apologize. I don't mean to pass this down the line, but maybe other people can help with this. Again, I'm very, very poor when it comes to these sorts of, uh, 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 pinpoint, uh, uh, list recommendations. I'm really bad at that. I wish I could be better with this stuff, but yeah, so, thank you so much. Oh, makes me remember, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's not a problem at all. I completely understand. Again, thank you very much for expressing an interest. I apologize for not being well prepared. Dan asks, "What's your opinion of with ratings board censorship?" Um, well, actually, it's I would say it's a little bit. Um, you're talking about self-imposed censorship, right? Based upon ratings or quote unquote recommendations, right? Because at least as far as my understanding of how certain systems work, there's a type of evaluation that occurs in terms of a quote unquote ratings based on content that is evaluated by certain whatever system is set up. And then in order to avail oneself of certain marketing related benefits or perks, as it were, or to achieve one rating over another, then I understand that filmmakers or producers or whatever the case may be decides whether or not to abide by such rating, challenge it, or perhaps make alterations in the works in order to then hopefully achieve a rating that would be quote unquote more suitable for the marketplace. End quote. And I use quotes because I know it's a very loaded discussion. I don't want to get too much into the details right now, but I suppose, um, I have nothing, and so therefore I separate them. The topic of ratings boards or board ratings on the one hand, and then censorship on the other. In my mind, one can separate or distinguish the two. They are related, but I don't think they're always the same thing, if you know what I mean. So, in that way, under the basis that one separates the two concepts, I have no problem with one. And then censorship, again, the word censorship requires context because um, at least from my vantage point, because it's either a type of the censorship. One uses the word censorship sometimes in the context of quote unquote self censorship. Now that's not always a good thing. Again, it depends on circumstance. Uh, but I have nothing against ratings per se. I mean, I have nothing against them per se, because ratings themselves don't automatically uh, um, lead to censorship. They might, but they might not. They don't automatically in all cases. Now, I understand at the same time. that certain ratings do carry consequences in terms of distribution, in terms of availability, in terms of accessibility. And so I understand the nuance of, or at least I think I understand the nuance of that discussion as well. And so I think, therefore, that in a in all things being equal, nothing inherently wrong with the concept of ratings, but the concept of ratings, but certain consequences that do arise, if they do arise, due to certain, say, quote unquote realities of the marketplace. Those I can definitely have a conversation about. I can definitely have a conversation about, and I'll be very happy to maybe in the future. But that's just my general impression. Again, I don't mean to belabor the topic. I think it's a really good question, but yes. Anyway, thank you very much for the question, and thanks for expressing an interest. Yes, I know someone who, when you say sleep is for the weak, she says sleep for a week. I like that very much. Thank you so much. Omesh says, I recently watched Jean Gilman, for the first time. And I think it sits at the intersection between Master of the House and Joker. Ooh, that's a very interesting intersection. That's a very interesting intersection to visit. Really interesting indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Andoni, oh, you tried the content game. No, not a problem. No, no, it is a difficult one. That's a great question, though. Great question. Well done. It's always nice to see you, and thank you so much, by the way. Thank you. Um, are you going, Endless Mike, are you going to do a discussion on the Twin Peaks SNL Saturday Night Live sketch? So, which sketch are you referring to? I'm not sure exactly. Um, I used to watch Saturday Night Live, but I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore. It's hard to watch Saturday Night Live here in Japan. Yeah, I don't think it's, at least I'm aware it's not broadcast here in Japan. So, but in any event, maybe there were some that happened before. I just don't recall. But um, uh, don't remember. Again, I don't have my Saturday Night Live knowledge base is fuzzy at best. Omar says, "What is your favorite blind purchase?" So you mean, what is your favorite purchase of a film that I'd never seen before? Uh, let's see. I mm, uh, Lately, I don't do those. I guess the ones that I do those are the Criterion releases lately. The ones where because I'm a big fan of the Criterion collection, and so I don't. So there are a number of releases that I haven't seen yet. So I suppose I'm just looking at. Yeah, I spoke about it last year, but at the time of its release by Criterion, I hadn't seen the film Frownland. I was I When I saw that, I was really into that. That was such a great film. I was so excited to see that. It was wonderful. So that counts as, I guess, a blind purchase. But outside Criterion lately, no, I don't have any of those purchases. Maybe I should increase them in order to expand my horizons, as it were. But it's hard because, again, I have to be sure to watch my spending. I don't want to go overspend. It might be. I don't want to overspend too much anyway. Dan continues with the great questions. Thank you so much, my dear friend. Thank you for expressing an interest too in what it is I might have to say in terms of answers. I'm very flattered by this. And you say, what is your go to snack and drink combo when you go to the cinema? So I don't go to the cinema that much anymore, unfortunately. But when I did, I would always go for like a soda and some popcorn. So pretty standard stuff. Um, uh, Once in a while, I'd go for some like caramel chocolates or something like that. But more often than not, it would be uh, regular salted popcorn and a soda, perhaps, or kind of a largest soda. Let's see. Oh, Gizmore, I know you're a big Agatha Christie fan, but I don't know if you have mentioned the Margaret Rutherford Miss Margaret films. Are you a fan? I saw Murder, She Said for the first time recently. Oh, yes, so I haven't mentioned Margaret Rutherford films. I know them very well. I've seen them many, many times. I know what you're referring to. Murder, She Said, I very much. Excuse me. While I wouldn't call the Margaret Rutherford Miss Marple films to be my absolute favorite Miss Marple adaptations, they aren't my favorite ones, but I do enjoy them. I do enjoy them very much, and they do have a type of liveliness to them that is undeniable. So I'm very glad that you were able to catch up with them. That's really great. Thank you. Um, really, really it's lovely stuff. I'm a big fan too of um, well, I guess I really love I love Agatha Christie adaptations, and I what was it? I was um, I was very taken. Well, I guess when I first saw the Margaret Rutherford films, I was still quite young, and so I was right. So again, they might not be my absolute favorite Agatha Christie Miss Marple film adaptations in the world, but they're really good. They're very fun. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy more. There's so many others. Or actually, not so many, but there's a handful of others as well. So you should check those out as well. Andoni, my dear friend, continues. Do you like the movies Walking Trier? And is he on the Criterion? Oh, yes, yes. Yes. So, uh, the worst person in the world, right? Yes, yeah. So that was recently in the Criterion collection. So, very exciting stuff. Yes. I hope I got that right. Yes. So, if Criterion said next month's announcements are the last ever titles, what would you like to see? On Dan with more thought-provoking questions. Again, I don't know. Maybe what would I say? I don't know. Yes. Again, just my mind could change at any given moment, but maybe Edward Yang films, Confusion, or Mahjong, or both, or maybe Terrorizers too. But in particular, those first two. Maybe Ken Russell's The Devils, a real robust release of The Devils, real robust. It would have to be. Maybe I don't know. Jean Eustache uh, works, maybe something like that, probably. And then maybe I don't know if it had to be the very last thing Criterion would ever release. Maybe they should go out with a bang and say, okay, here is the I don't know blue K 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo super box set of all the Akira Kurosawa films in this huge giant box. That would be okay. That would be something I could go for. So again, just off the top of my head. Uh, Oh, Omesh continues as I almost never do blind purchases. My two favorites are Criterion releases of To Be or Not to Be and A Face in the Crowd. Yes. Adele asks, oh, very good. Yes, Sono. Yes. Yes. So I haven't spoken directly about the works of Sono, but yes, I am a fan of the works. And so, and you mentioned Ahimitsu, and it's very powerful in their symbolism. Well done again, Adele, again with the great comment. Well done. Well done. Oh, Barmasa 80, thank you so much. Will you cover Art Theater Guild any further? So, you are so kind to remember. I am a big fan of Art Theater Guild films from Japan, and it is one of my great hopes and ambitions to one day talk more about Art Theater Guild films on this channel. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do so. Again, I wish I could have more time. I really wish I could have more time to talk about more films about this area or that area. I really wish I could. I'll be perfectly honest, it's not easy. It's not always easy to talk about films, because again, it's time. Time, I wish I could have more time, to do so. But one day, if the opportunity were to arise, I'd love to be able to revisit the area. Well, I do watch Art Theater Guild films, regularly, even now, so I'm a big fan and admirer of the film. It's a very exciting oft overlooked, I would say, and I don't mean that in any kind of disparaging way for anyone who might not know Arthur Gilliam. It's not. It's kind of a fairly obscure. Well, not really. It's fairly maybe it's not so. It's not given so much attention outside of Japan. Heck, I don't even know if it's given that much attention inside Japan, let alone outside of Japan. No one is certainly at fault for not knowing what Art Theater Guild films are. That's certainly the case. So, no intention on my part to make people feel that way. If so, I deeply, deeply apologize. That's not my intention. But I guess the point is that it's probably somewhat of a topic that is not often discussed. Let me put it that way. It would be great, I think, if I mean, there's something very powerful. Really, there's a very powerful thing about a large international-based label like, say, Pro Films or Criterion or even Eureka Masters of Cinema or someone out there with a kind of a robust customer base that's international. That there's something very, very powerful about a label like that releasing an Art Theater Guild work or works. And so I'm thinking of, for instance, like Kiju Yoshida box set from Arrow, for instance, or Jisoji box set from Arrow. That was really those are wow. Talk about uh, uh, talk about compelling and challenging films from that era. There's a great set of films right there. So very, very compelling, very challenging, very, very difficult in a lot of places. But it's part of the point of that Art Theater Guild or ATG films. So maybe one day, maybe one day. So. Oh yes, yes, Omesh with the Angelopoulos save. Well done. I completely neglected to say Angelopoulos. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Angelopoulos box set. Wow, that would be fantastic. Could you imagine if the discussions Could you imagine people talking about the traveling players? Wow, they'll talk about the traveling. Have you seen the traveling players? Wow. Yes, Endless Mike. Let's see. Endless Mike asks, I was wondering if the packaging for a movie is as important for you as the movie itself. I'm currently collecting the Disney treasures, but not all of them in the tins because they're too expensive. So I enjoy packaging. I enjoy the cases, and I do talk about cover art designs a little. For instance, in the like the end of year wrap up of the Criterion releases that I do. There's a video that I do on my favorite cover art designs or something like that. And it's part of the fun of physical media collecting. That's for sure. But while I acknowledge that it's very fun, I'll be perfectly honest. It's not the most important thing for me in the grand scheme of things. And the most important thing, and I don't mean any disrespect for cover art design artists and the like. I know it's very important to try to capture some kind of essence of the film. I completely get it. I understand it. So I acknowledge that's very important work. But for me, ultimately, it is about the film. It is about the film. So and so in that way too. Also, with regard to packaging, I guess it's a result of me living overseas or outside of the United States because I usually order things, have them shipped here. In the shipping, more often than not, the items will get maybe dented or scratched or something, or maybe or creaks here and there. I sometimes even get cracks in plastic casing. When I first started to do this sort of stuff, I was very, very conscious of that sort of thing. I was really quite I found myself irritated by that stuff a lot, but I had to learn to control my irritation because it was just you just couldn't help this sort of thing. As long as the disc was okay and as long as the item was more or less okay, it was actually more worthwhile to save it and keep it rather than go through all the hassle of returning it. Every once in a while, of course, there would be uh, defects that would be just insurmountable. For instance, there would be some actual defect in the disc, or maybe the disc which should have been new, but it was just scratched or something like that. That would have been, uh, not becoming of a disc that should have been new. And I purchased it under the assumption or the understanding that it was a new item. So of course, scratch would be out of the question. So in those extreme cases, of course, I would return something. But if we're talking about a crease in the spine or a dent in the corner or something, that would be fine. And I have no problem with that. So in fact, I think that really kind of helped me along a little because now I'm not so concerned about, I remember I bought the like, what's the Blu-ray set of what was it? The James Bond Blu-rays, and they were in this box, and then I took the discs out, or it had plastic casings, and it had a box that surrounded the plastic casing. I took the discs out because I was just looking through it. I wanted to watch a James Bond movie or something, looking through it. I just very innocently put the box shell, the outer box shell, on my bed, and then I forgot about it, and I just went into the other room, and I came back, and I sat down on the bed, and I sat down on the box, and so I kinda squished the box of my James Bond Blu-rays. I was like, "Oh my goodness," I squished the box. I squished it, but, I kind of I got up, and I looked and down, and I said, "Oh, that's what I sat on," and I felt really horrified at one moment. Like, why, my goodness, how could I forget that I put a box on my bed? How could I sit on the bed, and how could I just squish the James Bond box set box? That's really quite, that's a no-no, especially if I'm, if I'm I guess I'm regarded as being one of these people who wants to celebrate physical media. The last thing I really should be doing is putting empty or, outer box shells on my bed and then going out of the room, coming back and sitting on them by accident, of course, by accident. But the point is that I was kind of worried about it, but I forgot about it about 5 minutes later, and I just kept using the box. It still works. It's fine. Uh, so I guess the point is that it was kinda good because I kinda got used to the idea of it's okay to, maybe, have things dented or creased as long as the disc works. So, that's my my little, I guess, squishing the James Bond Blu-ray box set story. But the discs still work. I didn't squish the discs, so, um yes. Oh, in other countries, they are released without the TIN certificate, a bit cheaper. It's just the content for that's very fair, but at the same time, I'm very supportive of people who are very, careful and conscious of the outer packaging. I very much respect that because, again, part of the fun, I get it, part of the fun is the collecting aspect and also the tangibility. I totally understand, and again, not to take anything away from that experience. I think that's wonderful, very important. And then for the artwork and poster art design, and that's true for covers of albums and records and things, and covers of books and things, very, very important. But again, just for me personally, while I acknowledge that it's important, ultimately, if I had to rank them, I would say for me, the film is what comes first for me. So, but again, I don't want to disparage or take anything away from the overall experience of the physical media collecting journey itself, which I think is very fun. Oh yes, Sleep So As to Dream. So I didn't pick up the Arrow set because I have the Japanese DVD. So, but maybe I should one of these days. Oh, Anubab is here. It's nice to see you as always. I hope you're well. Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you. Thank you. Matt, hello, Matt. Let's see. Would you ever do a PhD in film studies? You probably finish in record time. Well, that is a very kind thing to say. Thank you very much for thinking of me in that way. I've never thought about a PhD, in anything, let alone film studies. So, I've thought, oh, it would be interesting to try to study film again, maybe, but not necessarily in a PhD fashion, but maybe one of these days. But still, I don't know. I don't think I'm not that qualified or capable. I wish I were. I wish I really need to work on my ability to grasp things. I can't. It's hard for me to grasp things. I have to watch things over and over and over again to try to get at even some semblance of a point that I think I'm understanding, but I realize at the end of the day that I can only get just a fraction of a minuscule of the surface. It's hard for me to get everything. And I'm always very embarrassed at my lack of ability. But I'm always jealous of people who can watch something like just once or twice and just get everything. I wish I had that capability. I don't. But anyway, thanks for the lovely comment and compliment, by the way, man. That's very kind of you to think of me in that way. Oh, it's Lisan. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Well done. It's nice to see you, my dear friend. Thank you. Oh, hi, man. Yes, yes. Michael Hall, thank you so much. Again, another filmmaker, another series of films I haven't been able to speak about at all on this channel. Again, my failing. Henry Cooper. Oh, with an interesting question. This was asked of me, I think, by a comment sometime before, in fact, about if I could join a dinner party like this. I don't know, maybe, oh gosh, maybe John Waters and let's see, John Waters and Martin Scorsese and let's see, I don't know. Um, Gosh, so many to choose from. Maybe Sofia Coppola. Yeah, so many questions, so many stories I'd love to hear from each of those filmmakers. Oh, Rod, it's nice to see you, my dear friend. Well done. Yes, Sartana collection on air. Well done. Well done. Please, please let me know what you think of that. Omesh says Blu-ray discs themselves are remarkably robust. Yes, if I get the damaged box, I'll swap it with one of the lesser, quote unquote, lesser films with the same box design. Jace is here. Hello. What's up, everyone? Physical media for life. Oh, I love that attitude. Well done. Well done. Let's see. Endless Mike says the mailman once dropped an expensive Blu-ray set right in front of me. Ah, yeah, I know the feeling. I know, you know. So again, if yeah, I know the feeling. Yes. Um, oh, Dirty Beatnik. Hello, it's nice to see you. You ask, hello, Daisuke. Hope you're well. Just wondering, on average, how many films do you watch in a? Also, which films are you excited to see that you have on order? Well, thank you very much, Dirty Beatnik, for the question or the questions and for. Oh yes, and I see the editing. How many? Thank you so much. Yes, so I'll skip over there. So there we go. Thank you so much. Gosh, I don't watch that many films now. When I was a student in college, I watched like a film a day. Now I don't. I'd be lucky if I watch maybe I don't know, maybe like oh gosh, maybe a few films a week, something like that. And that this includes films that I've rewatched. So in terms of new films, it's becoming that number is very, 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 very small indeed, and that's not due to any displeasure I have in watching new films. It's just very difficult for me to go around to watching kind of new films. But generally, I wish I could watch more, but it's again time. I wish I had more time. And also, which films are you excited to see that you have on order? Um, oh, let's see. What do I have on order? Um, do I have anything on order? I guess apart from the Criterion titles, do I have anything on order? I know. I was actually thinking. I was just looking the other day online. Oh, is there maybe some things I'd like to watch or to get on order? Um, Lately, I'm becoming a big. I mean, I guess I was before, but I'm really, really impressed with Kino Lorber. I think they're doing some really excellent job work, and the breadth of their variety is mind-boggling to me. Like, Kino Lorber and a lot of their 4K releases, I think are really exciting. Like they did the releases for like the early Stanley Kubrick works, right? And I think am I correct in saying that you're gonna release the 4K UHD release of 12 Angry Men with both with also the William Friedkin version as well as a kind of as a double bill, I think, which is if I'm correct on that, that's really great news. Um, but if you imagine Kino Lorber, they release that and under the same label, they release a number of my other favorite films. Like I talked about them recently, about like Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja, in particular. Revenge of the Ninja. I love that film with Sho Kosugi. It was one of the films that my friends and I, when I was living in the States as a boy, we'd watch and rent. Oh, so much fun! Wow, what a film! But anyway, yeah. So very exciting stuff indeed. Andre, my dear friend. It's great to see you. Really great to see you. Oh yes, Ron Khanna, thank you for Guillermo del Toro as a great answer to the question. Well done. Yes, I can definitely say that. Yes. Um, let's see. Anirudh Ramak Risnan is here. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And you said I have a question, which I don't know if you're allowed to answer. What are your thoughts on younger filmmakers enthusiasts pirating films until they can afford to buy them? Well, I don't know about being allowed to answer or not, so I'm under no. kind of imposed rule or anything to say otherwise. At least I don't think so. But you know, I don't I comment, but I guess to say I don't comment on that sort of stuff in terms of any type of judgment that I would make uh, towards anyone who might be either engaging with or pursuing that type of activity. So I don't have any direct or personal say when it comes to that, and I really mean that. I really don't. And so, um, but you know, I think I can say that I I personally, uh, you know, I personally try my best to not uh, not concern myself with that type of stuff in terms of my own watching and viewing and film consumption activity. So I always try to go with quote unquote the official releases of things. So, but you know, I think also there is a sort of related point, which is, for instance, I know sometimes you can watch films that have been uploaded onto, say, YouTube, and so YouTube has this thing where you can watch, right, like full feature films of things and the like. So, and that might be considered to some to be kind of maybe sort of illicit behavior. But always keep in mind too that there are like YouTube. My understanding is that the copyright holder or copyright holders, if it's the plural, do have the option of making either a claim of copyright based on their rights as the rights holder, or they might have allow or permit such film to be continued to be uploaded and viewable on YouTube, so long as certain conditions of the license are, from the point of view of the copyright holder, certain conditions of the license are met. And so it's not. I think, in other words, I do, and uh, you know, I'm not. I I'm uh, I work in the legal field, and so I'm not the biggest IP. I'm not an IP lawyer expert by any stretch of the imagination, but my very basic understanding of IP rights and contract rights and licensing is such that I I kind of can see the the concept of rights holders and what it is in terms of uh, um, what the phrase is, asserting one's rights, the assertion of IP rights. And the assertion of IP rights can be done in a myriad of ways. Either it can be done what is sometimes viewed in a kind of, for lack of a better phrase, hostile way, or it can be done in a way that is permitted or permissible, which are called licenses. And so, and those licenses can occur in many forms. Oftentimes, primarily, they occur in written contracts in order to become enforceable documents, or they can occur as contracts that are formed even without a quote unquote writing. Sometimes that happens under YouTube's copyright policies. So yeah, so I'm sorry, just totally uh, overblown response to the question. I hope you can forgive me. But yes, that's my response. So it's a great question, by the way. So thank you so much. JB was here. It's nice to see you. Are there films that you feel are unfairly maligned? I don't know about unfairly maligned, but I can say that there are some films that I really enjoyed that I know got probably a pretty rough handling in terms of the critical reception. So I can say, for instance, you remember the film Cats? The film Cats. So I wouldn't call it the greatest film I'd ever seen, but I went to see it in the theater here in Japan when it was released, however many years ago. And I went with my daughter, and we went because many years ago when we visited New York City, we actually went to see Cats on Broadway or whenever it was. I think it was the revival, and it was so fun. My daughter loved it, and we went on stage during the intermission and saw all the props and things built into the stage, etc. It was so much fun, and um, excuse me. So I wanted to see the film Cats. So when I saw the film Cats, I kind of knew that there was a lot of kind of critical attention, shall we put it, uh, given to that film. But I don't know. I as I say, I didn't think it was the worst film I'd ever seen. It wasn't the best film I'd ever seen, but certainly wasn't the worst film I'd ever seen. And I enjoyed it. My daughter enjoyed it, and I think we got a kick out of it. I mean, we never. I don't think we ever spoke about it ever again. But it wasn't like it was a total disappointment or disaster for us. I think it was really quite interesting in some places, in a lot of places, in fact. So, um, I wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily say that I would um, join in terms of the kind of maybe I don't know if backlash is the right word, but yeah, I think Cats could be an example. Also, maybe not recently because maybe it's getting a certain reassessment, but The Godfather Part Three. I'm maybe I'm on record of saying I'm I'm a I like The Godfather Part Three more than I do the Coda version. And I think the Coda version has a lot of merits and strengths to it, but there are some there are actually some very key points from my vantage point, which compel me to want to favor The Godfather Part Three, the theatrical version or the home media release or the home video release version over the current Coda release version, which I understand now the Coda version is now considered canon. Now it's the main attraction when it comes to all these releases, like the 50th anniversary release and the trilogy, etc. So now I think the Godfather Part Three version has been relegated to supplementary status. So, um, but in my mind, I think the part Godfather Part Three, not the Coda, the Part Three version, I think is from my vantage point the superior. And while there are certain, I would say, I don't know, weakness is the right word, but there are certain aspects of Godfather Part Three which I think are not as strong as they say could have been. I think it's a very dramatic and quite a moving work indeed. Very, very moving work indeed. And I am very taken with that film immensely. So, in particular, I think the home movie or the VHS release, which was slightly longer than the theatrical version, which was from 1990, right? So, but there's a mix. But again, if you don't like Cats or if you don't like The Godfather Part Three, that's fine, totally fine. I'm in no way offended in the slightest. Your own views on your films that you watch and your own cinema journey, I respect it 100%. So. Uh, Anyway. Oh, yes. Oh, Tanner, it's nice to see you. You say, I've been exploring the works of Hanukkah recently. The Piano Teacher and Funny Games. Yeah, the trilogy. So you're speaking of, yes, the Hanukkah trilogy, which was released at the tail end of last year. I think, yeah, I spoke about those films each on this channel. So, yeah, yeah, those are, if you really got into those films that you were referring to right now, I think, yes, I can strongly recommend the trilogy. Yes, I can definitely. Um, well done indeed. Thank you. Adele asked, "Oh, for Haruki Murakami movie adaptation." Oh, that's a really good question. I think maybe if you count a film like, say, Drive My Car, that could be up there. I was very taken too with um, I mean, oh gosh, that's a good question. While there's some aspects of the Norwegian Wood adaptation, which I really do like that as well. I'm a big fan of Murakami writings. Really big fan. Read Murakami so many times. Yeah, I love Murakami so much. What's your favorite Murakami book, by the way? I'd love to find out. Oh, yes, Omesh talks about DVD availability. Well done. Jason, thank you so much. Jason, yes, Suzuki's Taisho trilogy. If I'm familiar with it, from Arrow Academy, whatever. Yes, yes. Um, let's see. Maybe I should temper my recommendation to say that it is these films are very, very experimental in tone and feel. But that does, and perhaps for some, that experimental feeling might seem somewhat distancing, and it might seem somewhat, say, um, uh, uh, as a type of limitation for purely falling into the rhythm and being absorbed by the world. And if one feels that way about the Taisho trilogy films, that's fine. Totally fine. So my point is that it's a chance. It's a chance that you're taking. So there's a chance that you might, if you haven't seen those films, you might not like them upon first watch. However, I can say with definitiveness that they are among my favorite Japanese films ever made. Let me say that again. The Tiger trilogy films are among my favorite Japanese films ever made. Um, I think everyone, if you have the opportunity to watch Sequoia Horizon, you should watch it. All right. Um, and Kaguya and Meiji, if you have the opportunity to watch these films, if you watch them once and you like, you can put them back on the shelf and then revisit them a few months later and watch them. And believe me, among they are among my favorite Japanese films ever. And uh, if I guess I could put it another way, if I were asked to prepare a list of Japanese films that I could recommend to someone that, from my point of view, might in somehow or another best exemplify, from my own perspective, what it is to be quote unquote a Japanese film, whatever that means in terms of amorphous context of cinema subjectivity. If I were tasked with such a list making, I would, without hesitation, put those three films on my list without hesitation. But again, if my recommendation leads to your purchase of the film and it ends up being something that you're not into, my deepest apologies. It's not my intention to leave you with that amount of money having been spent on something that you ended up not liking. That's the last thing I want to do. So I don't want to cause that. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing for me. Again, because I know money is very important and it should be spent in a way that is comfortable for you. So I don't want to be too overly sort of grandiose in my recommendation. I want to be sensitive to that. But I can just explain it from my own perspective, how I feel about it. But again, if you do end up getting it and you do watch those films, one of them or all of them, please let me know anytime what you think at any time. Fifth order, Ninja 3. So Ninja 3, the domination is my favorite. Yes, yes, V8 juice. So Ninja 3, the domination perhaps has, should I say it? Perhaps one of the greatest uh, V8 juice movie scenes in history. I don't know. I don't know. I guess what's the top five V8 juice movie scenes? Is there a list like that? Maybe Ninja 3: The Domination would be at the top of that. Yeah, it's a great one. Oh, Le Grand Bouffe. Bouffe, yes, yes. So that's another one where I think one can. It's not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone. But for whatever reason, I have two copies of that actually. Disc. I think I got an extra copy by accident. But let's see. Lab Diaz, yes. Thank you so much. Yes, I have become a great admirer of the works of Love Diaz, but I haven't been able to watch all of the works. And I'm not in a position comfortable enough to be able to speak with any type of clarity, let alone any type of authority on the works of Love Diaz. So I haven't spoken about the works, but I am a fan, a big fan. Oh, yes, yes. So, the Murakami question, yes, I think I answered it before, I think. Oh, Dance, Dance, Dance. Well done. Oh, I like that. Well done. I like it very much. Well done. Okay, thank you for the follow-up, Jason. Yes, about the Grindhouse video, $20. So, yes, I think so. I think yes, and you're getting. I mean, another way to think about it, those are three films for $20. So that's what less. What that's what less than $7 per video per film, in a manner of speaking. So. Yes, well done indeed. So, I hope you enjoy. Oh, Matthew Lockwood, very well. Nice to see you. Max Ophuls, yes, that's another filmmaker I have not been able to speak too much about on this channel. But I am a big fan. Big fan indeed. I have so many weaknesses and failings on this channel. Really, I do. I wish I had more time. Oh gosh. Oh, let's see. Asked Fufu. Hello, it's nice to see you. Sup, Daisuke? Do you collect Blu-ray DVD of old and modern TV shows? Not all TV shows. Let's see. I, I have, um, I do like, for instance, I like British mystery shows when I was living in Britain in the 80s and 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Excuse me. I watched a lot of shows, like Inspector Morse. Do you know Inspector Morse? Or I watched a lot of the Tales of the Unexpected, the Roald Dahl Tales of the Unexpected. So I have that. Excuse me. That set. Excuse me. And speaking about Agatha Christie adaptations, I love Agatha Christie adaptations. I got the Poirot, Agatha Christie Poirot DVDs, not the Blu-rays, but the DVDs, and love those. I love those to bits. As far as modern shows, I mean, what's a TV show? Like I got like Batman the animated series. I love that show. What are some ones that I have on disc as well? Let's see. TV shows on disc. Good question. I guess Twin Peaks uh, counts. Let's see. Um, Brian, hello. You say, hi, Daisuke. I recently watched all 11 films directed by Juzo Itami after noticing that many of his films had relatively few ratings on IMDb. Could you recommend another overlooked director with a smaller filmography? Thank you. If you're thinking of a Japanese filmmaker, I can recommend, for example, this filmmaker. Here we go. I'll put it in the chat. So if you're interested, it's another Japanese filmmaker with probably, yes, in terms of films that are available for commercial release, uh, fairly they are available, but maybe the quantity of them is somewhat lesser in terms of quantity, lesser, but very fascinating. Uh, one of the filmmakers I admire quite intensely. So there you go. So documentaries mostly. Actually, I should say almost entirely, not entirely, almost entirely. So yes. Let's see. So I think I can stick around for another few minutes. So if you want to chat, I'll make myself available. Once again, I did. I just wanted to extend my deepest thoughts and well wishes to all of you out there. I was. It's now Monday, February 6th, right? And I was just reading the news very recently, just a few hours ago. In fact, it just was a lot of very difficult and very uh, very difficult things are happening in the world, and so at the moment, and so people who are affected by certain difficult circumstances or situations, such as the earthquake that has occurred a few hours ago in the vicinity of Turkey and Syria and other neighboring areas. Uh, Whether you're their director or if you have people that you any loved ones who are affected, my deepest thoughts and sympathies towards you at this moment for those and any other circumstances, whatever the case may be for you, my dear friend. So, in that spirit, I just wanted to say, as I said at the top of the discussion, that it's not I'm very limited in my capacity, but in that spirit, I felt, at the very least, I wanted to reach out and hear from you in real time, my dear friends. Because as I say, the technology affords us this opportunity to be able to connect with each other in real time, even though we might be separated by much space and many miles. So please pardon me for doing this. I hope you can forgive me, but it has afforded me with a lovely moment and moments to be able to connect with you in real time and to hear from you and talking with you and hearing and getting these questions. Not only that, you're asking me what I think about this or that. I'm so moved by this. Again, who cares what I think? No, no, right? I have no, like, exciting opinions about anything. I don't know anything. So the fact that you're asking me, you're spending your valuable time to watch this and then ask me questions about what I might think about this. I am so moved by this. My goodness. Wow, wow. So, thank you so very much for making me feel, making me feel like that I don't deserve it. Definitely, I don't deserve it at all. But thank you very much for expressing an interest. I really, really am very grateful for that. Thank you. Um, so let's see. Oh, Michael's here. It's nice to see. Oh, oh, sorry. This is the filmmaker for Brian that I wanted to mention here. I put it on the screen there. So sorry about that. Yes. So there's a film which is, I think, perhaps Kazuhara's most well-known film, which is called "The Emperor's Naked Army Marches On." This is the English title. Once again, it's called "The Emperor's Naked Army Marches On." And there's actually some good Blu-ray releases or DVD releases that you can find outside of Japan of that. And I don't think it's out of print. It should be still available. All right. So, oh, Michael, thank you so much. I apologize for doing this during your work hours, but your secret is safe with me, my dear friend. But anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. I know it's not the easiest time in terms of your other duties. So I appreciate that, my dear friend. Don't. You don't have to stick around. You don't have to stay too long. I understand. Works are important. Thank you very much, my dear friend. Thank you. Oh yes, Brian. No problem. No problem at all. So again, if you end up watching that or any other films, please let me know. Oh, by the way, what were some Tommy works that you enjoyed in that run of Tommy works? I'd love to hear about that as well. I'm a big fan of the Itami works. I should say, for instance, speaking of Itami, there was the great release from last year, I want to say, of the film which is called The Funeral, in English, The Funeral. And it is such a great work. It has some of the those supplements, the interviews on that Criterion disc are so great. The film is amazing, absolutely amazing. Tom Popo, of course, is a lot of attention, rightly so. But yeah, if you enjoyed, oh, you got to check out that film, The Funeral. Fantastic. Oh, Ron Kona says, I know Tokyo is a big city. Is there a Criterion community there? Um, I don't know. I know there's some specialty stores sometimes deal with Criterion titles. I know that import stores, but not so many, because Criterion titles are not officially part of, say, the Japanese media consumption markets. But there's some import stores that you can find here and there. I don't go there as often as I'd like to, but let's see. People do know Criterion very, very well. Um, but yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna maybe check out in maybe a minute or so, if that's okay, because my stomach is rumbling and I do want to get a bite to eat. If that's okay, I'll stick around for another moment or so. But anyone want to leave any last minute comments or questions? I'd be very happy to address them. Um, and if not, then we can end it here, and you can, of course, enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, yes, Brian, Taxing Woman's Return. Well done. Ooh, well done indeed. Yes, yes. Those films, I think, are available to watch, I want to say, on the Criterion Channel. Is that right? The Criterion Channel streaming services. I hope that I got that correct. I don't have the Criterion Channel streaming service, so I can't say with any direct knowledge. But I think. Oh yes, Brian. Thank you very much for that. So you say yes. Thank you. All right, and then you say, "Oh, big movie freak. Do you watch anime?" So I don't watch a lot of anime, but I do watch my share. My kids watch more anime than I do. Of course, anime is a big, big field. I suppose maybe some of the big, big titles are anime and manga, big, big titles that I can say. I'm a big, big fan of Neon Genesis Evangelion. And again, it's been one of my great dreams to one day hopefully be able to speak about in some capacity Neon Genesis Evangelion. So, but in any event, yes. So that's the situation there. Oh, one other question. Let's see. Infinite Dan 24. Hello, it's nice to see you. And you ask, I was just wondering which cut of Blade Runner is in the background on the shelf. Love your content. Well, thank you so much for that comment at the end. Thank you. And the Blade Runner, the back. Oh, this. Yes, yes, yes. So this is a disc of. I had the. I had the multi-disc set with all the versions, right? And then, what happened was uh, I lost or misplaced one of the discs. So I was very heartbroken by that, but I replaced the disc by getting what's called the archival versions release. This is the archival versions, which is that disc that has all the other versions that I had unfortunately misplaced from that multi-disc set. So that's why I have this, because I was revisiting one of the other versions the other day. And so just to refresh my memory as to trying to get a certain detail. I don't want to get into any details right now for the benefit of those who haven't seen this great film, Blade Runner. If you haven't seen Blade Runner, oh my goodness, you're in for a treat. So, but in any event, yes, thank you very much for noticing. I very much appreciate that. Very much. Thank you very much, Dan24. Thank you. All right. So, if that's okay, my dear friends, uh, I'd like to end this live stream now. And oh, all right. One another come Buck and the Preacher. Yes, I agree. I agree. I think I spoke about this release as well in a video discussion on this channel. So if you're interested, yes, I did, right? So if you're interested, you can maybe find that discussion. If you're not interested in my discussion, no, I'm not offended in the slightest. But yes, that's a great release. You're absolutely right. A lot of information about Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, right? So, oh, so and then the filmmaking style and the direction. Oh, wow, a lot of interesting anecdotes about the production. So great, so great. Let's see. Oh, see, Sahela Douglas says it's a Japanese George Romero. I love your glasses so much that you pulled them off. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. I am very honored by that. Yes, in fact, the reason why I wear these glasses is because they reminded me of the types of glasses that George Romero used to wear when he would be, in his life, when he'd be interviewed, for example, or on set, behind the scenes footage or something. And yes, he had huge, huge glasses. I think they were Goliath glasses. I actually the history of the model of these glasses is a very complex one. For those who know the history of Goliath glasses, I don't want to go into too much detail, but in order to kind of cut through the chase, I usually say that they remind me of the models that George Romero used to wear. But in fact, I think they are in fact very close, if not almost identical, to the types of glasses that George Romero used to wear. He pulled them off much better than George Romero and the glasses, so cool, so cool. I could never reach that level of coolness, even if I wanted to. Wouldn't be able to do it if my life depended on it. So I wear them now, not in any hope of trying to be as cool as George Romero, because I know it could never be that way. Never, never. But I wear them because I'm reminded of how much joy his films brought to me as a kid. I know horror films aren't for everyone, I know, but when I was a kid, I saw Night of the Living Dead for the first time. I was scared, my goodness. Or when I saw Dawn of the Dead for the first time, Day of the Dead for the first time, and then I saw other films like I saw Martin early in my life. I felt so fortunate to be able to do that, or The Dark Half when it came out, or a Night Rider's Creep Show. My goodness, when I saw all these films, and they brought so much joy and thrills and excitement and entertainment to my life when I was a boy growing up. George Romero, in my mind, became in many ways indelible, indelible link with cinema, my concept of what cinema was and is. So that now his films mean so much to me. And so right now, when I saw these glasses being in a store, online store, I said, "Oh, those are the same. They look just like the ones that George Romero." So I bought them, and it took me forever to find a store that would be able to fit the lenses because these are prescription glasses. I have lenses because I wear glasses, and um, so I put the lens, but it took me a while to find a store that could handle it because most stores around my area couldn't handle these oversized glasses because they were too big and the lenses. So I had to pay a little bit extra for the lenses, but it was definitely worth it. So now I wear them out of respect for George Romero and in homage to the man who, again, whose works brought me so much happiness as a kid, such that I wear them even now. These aren't the only glasses I wear. I mean, I have other pairs of glasses that I wear, for work or when I go to the gym or something like that. I don't wear these glasses. I wear other glasses. But when I talk about movies or when I feel like I want to be in a quote unquote cinema mood, I put these on. And again, I can't be as cool as George Romero. I will never be as cool as George Romero. Um, but 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 it's just a little link that I hope that I can make in terms of my own heart and the spirit of George Romero. Rest in peace. And so that's my little that's the story about these glasses. So I remember during the early days of this YouTube channel in particular. I think you can still find those comments on those early videos. I got a fairly I got a lot of comments about people making fun of my glass. "Oh, your glass looks stupid," or "Why are you wearing such stupid glasses? You're so you look like a dork," or something like that. It's painful to look at your face because of the glasses, that sort of stuff. And I at first, when I do this YouTube channel, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause that reaction. It wasn't my intention at all," but and I was very, very self-conscious about wearing the glasses, very, very self-conscious, and I thought but then ultimately I thought, "Oh, what the heck?" I mean, you know, right, if people wanna make fun, that's fine, but, it's not gonna take away from my love of George Romero's works, and so when I was able to kind of, uh, s kind of, remind myself of that in my head and my heart, then "Oh, that's fine." So now I wear them and I love wearing them. I absolutely love wearing them. So, and comments like yours really make my day. It really do. So thank you so much. Timothy, thank you so much. Oh, and thanks for the conversation earlier on Instagram about the film Scarface. So yeah, you're absolutely. I knowing your tastes in cinema, we've talked about it a lot. I'm not sure if I could recommend it for you. You did mention also the language as well, but if ever you decide to revisit that film, my dear friend, let me know. But no pressure, no pressure at all. I hope you're well. Oh yes. Um, thank you, Matt. Thank you. Yes, and thank you, Timothy. Thank you. It's nice to see you. Oh, yes, Gizmortar, yes, Martin. Second Sight, I have that on pre-order as well. Yes, so very excited about that. I think it's like the black and white version. I think that's a big deal as well. So, um, I have the Japanese Blu-ray of it, but, oh, big movie for you. Thank you very much for the earlier question about anime. Thank you. Yes, I don't know. I'm not the biggest anime expert, but I do enjoy my share. So maybe one of these days, that's another failing of mine in this channel. I don't talk as much as I really should about anime, but I'd really love to one of these days again if the opportunity presents itself. But once again, again, I wish I had more time. I really did wish I had more time. So much to do and so little time, as the case as the saying goes. So, um, oh, very good. Oh, Penrith, thank you so much. Tropical Mallet. Yes, well done. Yes, I have seen, yes, but never spoken about it. So thank you so much for this. I'm about to go now, so I'm so sorry to cut this conversation short. I don't mean any disrespect, my dear friend, but I hope you're well. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thank you. We'll talk again very soon. And also, all you lucky people, my dear friend, thank you so much for this. Omega Man. Still processing it. I understand exactly what you mean when you say that. Yes. When you want to talk about it, you let me know. You can drop me a line on the comment section or Instagram or whatever you want to talk about it. Let me know. I'm very happy to hear about after your thoughts about it after you have processed. Again, I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, my dear friends, let's maybe if it's okay, I'm gonna go and eat dinner now. So uh, once again, I do want to say that I know there's a lot happening in the world. I know there's so many things that are happening, especially in the past few hours, and uh, my my um, my thoughts are always with you, my dear friend. And uh, you know, um, my thoughts, of course, right? I know in the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna move mountains or anything like that. I know that. And I know that, uh, well, yeah, it's not gonna move mountains, but what I can say is, uh, whatever, and I really, really mean this, whatever the case is for you, my dear friends, whatever circumstances you find yourself, whether they be pleasant circumstances or lovely circumstances, or maybe not so lovely circumstances, maybe difficult circumstances, sad, terrible circumstances, or somewhere in between, whatever the case is, and I don't know because your life is yours, and I'm not privy to all the information and all the stuff that happens in your life. So I can't know the extent of your feelings, and I can't know the extent of your experiences. It's impossible for me to know that. I can't presume to know what it is you're feeling, what you're going through. And so I don't mean to presume because I don't. But what I do want to say is whatever the situation is for you, like you do, where you find yourselves in, or whether it's you directly or with regard to you or your family and friends and loved ones, whatever the case may be, especially given current times. And I know they are difficult in many aspects, in many respects, all over the world. I do know this. And so, whatever the situation is for you, my dear friends, my sincerest hope is that you are well, or that you are as well as can be expected. And that if you are not well, then I hope that things turn around as swiftly and as positively as possible. And that maybe if you have time to watch a good movie, go for it. If you don't have time to watch a good movie, or if you're not up for watching a good movie, or if you're not in the mood to watch a movie, that's okay too. It's totally okay. You do what you need to do. You do what you have to do in these moments, in these circumstances. And at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the week, or maybe at the end of the month, or at the end of the year, my hope is that my YouTube channel will still be up. I have no plans of going anywhere. If you ever want to come back, maybe you're not in the mood now to speak about movies. That's fine. That's fine. If you want to come back when you're ready, if you are in the mood one day to speak about movies, if you want to talk to me about a recommendation that you have, or if you want to give me a little suggestion about a recent release that you just saw, if you want ever to talk to me about movies, and you want to give me a few tips or pointers about what I should watch, or if you want to just chat about stuff, if you're not in the mood now, if ever you want to visit anytime, you are always, always, always welcome here at any time. Now, I might not be the most great host. I might not say the best things or the most appropriate things, and I might not have the best wherewithal and ability to grasp situations or say the precisely best things that should be said. I don't claim to do that, but I am always happy to see you, and I'm always, always happy to hear from you. And you are always welcome here anytime, at any time. And I will do my very best to welcome you uh, with with enthusiasm and with energy, because you have always shown me such great examples of what it is to be energetic and enthusiastic film lovers. And I always follow your example every time I think about my own cinema journey. So, in that spirit, my dear friends, you are always welcome here at any time. So, with that, my dear friends, thank you. And we will see each other at the next video. And once again, take very, very, very good care of yourselves and your family and friends and loved ones. This is the most important treasure. Very much it is. Very important, especially during these times. Please take very, very good care of yourselves. And at once that is been taken care of, my dear friends, and if you're still up for it, please keep on watching a lot of great, great, great movies. And until the next one, friends, thank you. And cheers. And sorry for any last minute people who've joined. Sorry about that. I wish I could stay more on that. Sorry about this. Thanks for stopping by. I very much appreciate I haven't seen this film yet. I haven't seen I've heard a number of great things, but I haven't seen it yet, so, but anyway, thank you so much, my dear friend, and see you at the next one. Take very good care of yourselves, and see you soon. Cheers.